Good evening. Tonight on 2020 we will be going back to the fabulous and boisterous period called the Roaring Twenties. The 1920s was a period of rapidly changing lifestyles, financial, technological, fashion, and not to forget, food and beverage. The American dream was not just a myth, it was finally here. The introduction of refrigerators and freezers changed lives forever, and it was a victorious decade for the food industry. The industry has officially changed, and for the better. With that said, let's take a look at the impact that the 20s have made on society today. Back to 1906, when a man named Upton Sinclair, a famous novelist and crusader from California, wrote a book called The Jungle. It was a detailed and horrific look at the meatpacking industry. It explained how the workers and the animals were abused and how unsanitary the conditions were. It led to President Roosevelt passing the Pure Food and Drug Act of 1906. The act is what changed the food and beverage industry forever. The law allowed consumer protection rights from the federal government, and later on led to the Food and Drug Administration. It basically forced companies to put active ingredients or preservatives on food and created drug labels, making them more reliable and healthy products. All of this is what led to rising technology and such luxuries as the refrigerator, freezer, and gas stoves, which made food preparation much more convenient and timely. People started to rely solely on processed food and ate less homegrown crop foods. Some familiar brands that have been around since the early 1920s are Gerber Baby Foods, Coca-Cola, Domino's Sugar, Velveeta Cheese, and Jell-O. The rich and wealthy could be seen at the Waldorf Astoria. A typical menu would consist of some extravagant menu items such as canapé of anchovies, medallion of spring lamb, and of course the famous Waldorf salad. They were seen at this restaurant to show class and luxury. At this time, the food and manufacturing business was starting to become a huge industry. Snacks were the same as such today. Baby Ruth bars, Yoo-Hoo chocolate drink, popsicles, Reese's peanut butter cups, and Hostess cakes. Kool-Aid was also as popular back then as it is now. On another note, the rationing programs brought by the government due to World War I tested the cleverness of home cooks and brought to life reconstituted oil, meats, and egg substitutes such as Spam and Crisco. Prohibition, or no alcohol, was also a factor in the 1920s, as you all already know. This was one of the reasons why soft drinks were so popular. At this time, hotels and restaurants took a toll to not having alcohol. People turned to tea rooms and cafeterias. Imperialism and immigration also had an impact on new foods being brought to the U.S. Some examples of this food is pizza from Italy, hamburgers from Germany, and peppers and beans, also known as Tex-Mex, from Texas. So, with all of this information being put out there, let's talk about the American dream in reference to the food and beverage industry. According to James Trussell Adams in his book, The Epic of America, he states that the American dream means that dream of a land in which life should be better and richer and fuller for everyone, with opportunity for each according to ability or achievement. This statement is exactly what happened in the 1920s with the growth of the food and beverage industry. Before, it was a time of inconvenience and frustration. This turned into the American dream. Times became more convenient and efficient. Mothers had more time for their children and families. Food preparation wasn't an all-day event that consumed their lives. They finally had the modern-day lifestyle that they deserved. Jobs were created and people were happy. The dream that they always envisioned in their minds became real. Life was wonderful, life was grand. Thank you and good night.
Created using Powtoon.